I titled this session "Being the CEO of My Freelance Career," and that's what I want to talk about. Is that bigger picture? How do we lift our heads up and look into the distance and see what's going on? So, just very quickly, a little bit about me. I am the author of the Freelance Bible. I am a film and TV producer. I have an MBA, and I do a lot of training and mentoring, particularly with screen and creative freelancers and entrepreneurs. So, and one of the questions that people often ask me, rather than what I do, why, and it's a question I pose to lots of freelancers, is why do clients work with me? And I think as freelancers, we have, if in order to add impact and find opportunity for our clients, we want to be able to explain why clients work with me. And I describe my key skill as transforming creative ideas into a business reality. That's what I do. Now, what's interesting about that is how I do it and what I do can be very different, but actually the same thing applies. So when I'm writing my book for Penguin, that's my idea into a business reality. When I'm running a webinar such as this, I'm helping you all transform your ideas into a reality. When I'm working on a strategic project with a client, writing a report, I'm helping them turn their strategy into a reality. So I do different things and I use different skills, but that strap line is common across the whole thing. And I think we can get ourselves confused by trying to go, well, all the different things like, oh, I write a book, oh, I do webinars, oh, I do reports. How do those join up? Well, actually, it's how I it's the approach I take through all of that resonates. So how can you think about that for your work? So when I think about how to be a great freelancer, it's not enough just to work in our freelancing. Great freelancers work on their freelancing. And what do I mean by that? The difference between working in your freelancing is all those different projects you're working on, all the projects in the pipeline, and those projects like plates, they're taking priority, they're paying the bills. But actually what's going to make us a better freelancer is working on our freelancer, being that CEO of our freelance career, being the finance director, making sure the invoices go out, making sure we get paid, marketing and sales. Who am I going to be working with? What's coming up next? Have I got meetings lined up? Where's my work going? And that operations director scheduling our time. But today's session, I really want to focus on is, what does it mean to be that CEO? Because most of us come into freelancing because it's a great way of working, but also, we've not necessarily been a CEO before. We've not had to think strategically like that. So I think when we start to unpick that and start to think about that, that can really help us. So thinking like a CEO is about owning your freelance career. And you can see that picture there. There's a signpost there. We can't read what's on the sign. We don't know which direction to go. And it reminds me of this quote from Alice in Wonderland, where the cat says to Alice, she's at the crossroads, and the cat says, where are you going? And Alice says, well, which way should I go? And the cat says, well, that depends where you're going. And Alice says, well, I don't know. And the cat says, well, it doesn't matter which way you go then. And I think that's so true of freelancing. It's very easy to bob along and do lots of different projects, different clients, different things, but we don't take that time to go, is this career taking me in the direction I want to go? Is this work I want to be doing? Am I using my skills in the best way? So that's where we want to move away from that Alice position of, I don't know which way I want to go, because then it doesn't matter what work we do. So how do we do that? Oh, Astrid, I love that you like Alice in Wonderland as well. It is fantastic work. So how do we move forward and think like a CEO? And I think part of this is understanding that why piece, why me, where we can match our service offering with our clients' needs. So just like that game of cards there, we're looking to get a match. And we've got to do this, we've got to understand the context and the culture of our industry and how our experience can translate into a valuable offering. Spotting opportunities, asking ourselves questions. Where's the pain? Where's the pain for my client? What's the problem I can solve for them? Because when we start to think like that, opportunities. And the first thing we need to do is ask ourselves, well, where am I at? And that's thinking about, well, what skills do I have to offer? What's specific to my work? What could be transferable to other things? Finding out from other trusted friends and colleagues, where do I add value? What is it about what I do that is so much wrapped up in me and who I am? Because as a freelancer, we're selling our own skills and services. We're selling ourselves, our services, our skills, our knowledge, and things that we are innately very good at, often we can't see because they're just part of who we are. So asking friends and colleagues, what do I do? How do you see I look at the world? Those kind of questions. And from there, we can build an action plan, because absolutely that which we take for granted in ourselves is often what clients most value in us. So I've asked clients over the years, what is it that I do well? And I got really confused because I got lots of people come back to me going, but Alison, you're just really organized. And I was like, but don't you just have to be really organized to be a freelancer? Isn't that just what you have to be? And it became apparent in conversations that actually, I was way more organized than most people. And actually, the clients that I work with did work with freelancers who were not very organized. And it was kind of like, why would you do that? And the moment I had a sort of cannot compute, that sort of like moment, that's when I realized that's what I take for granted in myself. That's how the lens I see the world through. And therefore, that is a value that I bring, and I need to own that and identify that. And it can be hard to own that because actually it's so much part of us. It's just like, well, doesn't everybody do that? But when we realize that not everybody does that, we can then embrace that and see that as part of what we can offer. So where am I at is the first piece. And then looking at what's going on in my marketplace. Where's my sector at? Taking an objective look, what are, industry reports, trusted news channels, put across by social media? Is that an objective look? Digesting for yourself, where's my sector really at? We can do that traditional kind of pestle analysis where we're looking at the political environment, the economic, the social, the technological, the legal, and the environmental. What are all these things that are going on in my marketplace? How can I understand how it's changing, where it's going, so I can position myself best? Where is it going to be in 3 months, in 6 months? In 18 to 24 months, what does that look like? So if I look, say, at the film and TV sector at the moment, it's incredibly busy here in the UK. It's still playing catch up from COVID. So in the next 3 months, it's going to be really busy. In the next 6 months, probably I'm thinking, well, that's moving us into summer, more stuff filming in the summer. That's going to be really busy. 18 to 24 months, we'll have caught up, but actually we're all consuming loads of content, and more content is being made. What's that trajectory? That's where it's going to start changing. That's where, I want to be thinking, well, actually, is more technology coming in, more virtual production? What does that look like? Currently, the industry is quite in firefighting mode. In 18 to 24 months, that could be quite different. So asking yourself those questions about your sector, your industry. So once we've looked at that, we want to think about, okay, so I've got a sense of where I'm at, what's going on in my marketplace. I think it's also important to understand, when we're thinking about this, being the CEO of our careers, why companies hire freelancers, because that can help us with our narrative. Companies hire freelancers for one of two reasons. Either they need specialist skills in their company that they don't have and they can't afford every day, they don't have a need for them, or because they need extra capacity in their company. So if I'm going in with specialist skills to a company, so for example, if I took the example of somebody who ran social media marketing strategies and implementation for clients, if I go in with specialist skills, I'm going into a brand, they might not really have ever done much on social media, and I might have to take them on a journey as to which platform, how it can add impact for their business, why social media is a good place for them to be. So that's when I'm coming in with specialist skills. And I possibly need to go right back to the beginning of like what social media is all about, why it's important. So that's one narrative that I would give to a company. And it can seem a bit mundane, because if I'm at the cutting edge of social media, going back to the beginning with something, it's like, why is that adding value? Well, they don't know journey. Whereas if I go in with my social media skills to add capacity, I might be going into an agency. They've got extra clients. They need some extra work. They're going to know all about which platform, whatever. They're just going to want to know that you've got the technical skills to create the post, to do the sponsored adverts, whatever, look at the analytics, all of that. So you have a different conversation. So if you can identify when you're pitching to a client, are they hiring me for specialist skills, or are they hiring me because I add capacity? I can adjust my narrative, and that can help me understand where I'm going to add value. And when we're thinking about the different ways that we can add value as a freelancer, I call it like your secret sauce. There are different ways, and it's much more than trading time for money. It's much more about the value that we can add to companies. Companies aren't going to take us on as freelancers because they're giving to charity. They're going to take us on as freelancers because we are going to add value to them. So how do we explain that? What is it that we do? Do we fulfill a need for our client? Are we developing new opportunities for them? Are we increasing sales for them? Are we saving money on the bottom line? So many different ways that we can add value to our clients. And if we can explain why our services fulfill a need for a client, develop new opportunities, increase sales, save money on the bottom line, that's adding value. That's much more, that's worth much more to the client than, say, our daily rate. So I challenge you to think about, how is the work that you do for clients, how does that add value to them? How do you change the conversation? Because your secret sauce recipe is what you're selling, and that is the value that you add to clients. And if you like, the ingredients are a cup of your skills and experience, your brand values, your values, what's important to you. And it's that lens that you see the world through that's completely unique to you. And it's when you mix those together that you realize that that's your secret sauce. That's where you add value. And if then when you go into clients and you have a mindset that is about delivering value to help them look good, to deliver against their objectives, I kind of cheesily call it the Buzz Lightyear mindset, that sense of, to infinity and beyond. I am thinking about how my client can achieve their KPIs, their strategic objectives, rather than how I can get paid for a day's work, kind of thing. So when I'm starting to think beyond what's in it for me, but actually how do I make my client look good, that allows me to build long-term relationships with clients. And for me, just to wrap up on the slides, it's all about being open for business, listening when you're with clients, talking to them, pitching to them, listening and hearing, where's the problem? What are they trying to solve? What do they understand? What do they not understand? How can I provide a solution for them that's going to allow them to reach their objectives? Because as a freelancer, I can be agile. I can adjust what I do, how I do it to fit with them. So that's what we're looking at when we're thinking about being the CEO of our freelance careers. So I promised everybody a quick session. So those are the slides. That's all about me. I'm going to come back into the room and I would love to answer any questions from you. I hope that has given you some insights and some passion to get going on a Monday morning as well.